Welcome to the Sweat Simple podcast. I'm Brooks, and I'm an online fitness, nutrition, and mindset coach who's here to help you learn how to eat and exercise for real life, not just those perfect moments. Because let's be real, there is a lot of conflicting information online, and it can be hard to know what's legit and who to trust. In every episode, I'll be sharing the science and psychology behind health, fitness, and long-lasting behavior change, but I'll also be sharing practical, real-life application because all of the best info in the world only matters if you can apply it to your real life. So grab a coffee, water, glass of wine, or lace up your walking shoes, and let's dive in. Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the Sweat Simple podcast. I am so excited because we are doing a holiday quick hits episode. This is coming out, I don't even remember, sometime before Thanksgiving. So these are going to be some quick little tips that are going to get you through. And these are not like your typical holiday tips where it's like, bring a veggie tray or, like bring your own food. No. What I do with my clients is we learn how to eat in real life. We learn how to navigate real life situations. So these are my favorite holiday eating tips that work for those real life situations. This time of year can be so tough. It often feels like you are in an all or nothing minefield. Want to enjoy the holidays. So there's like this temptation to just kind of give up on your goals and say that you'll worry about these things come January 1st. But at the same time, you don't want to undo months of progress. So there's also this feeling like you should stick to your fat loss goals and like grit through and not have any cookies or anything. And the good news is that we don't have to live in those extremes. We can enjoy the holidays. We can also not undo our progress. And these little quick tips are going to help you get there. These tips are all about how to be consistent and how to feel proud of your choices without feeling like you have to obsessively track, without feeling like you have to skip dessert, without feeling like you have to just like pass on all of these social events. That's not what we want. We want to find that middle ground. I want you guys enjoying the holidays, feeling good, but also still making choices that reflect your overall goals. And something to remember too is I think a lot of us forget that the only way to focus our health is not just fat loss. Sometimes it feels like fat loss and tracking calories is the only way that we are focusing on our health. But there are also a lot of eating skills and a lot of eating behaviors that we can build that are leading to this overall healthy lifestyle that we can still focus on during this holiday season, maybe even if we're not losing weight and even if we're not tracking calories. And if that's what you want, if you want more of this practical real life application, you want to figure out how to navigate these real life circumstances, you want to feel proud of your efforts, you want to feel like you can have the cookie, my 4-week holiday hustle challenge starts so soon. The waitlist is opening up as this podcast drops. So make sure you are on the waitlist. You can join it in the show notes if you want to get in on this. I have 2 different tiers. They are low cost options, low cost ways to dip your toes into what coaching would look like with me and dip your toes into some of this behavior change and mindset work that isn't just about tracking calories and finding these perfect plans, but truly about learning how to navigate real life situations. That's what we're going to be doing in Holiday Hustle. And we're going to be putting all of this into action together. So if that sounds like your vibe, head to the show notes, get in on the program. I would love to have you all in there. But we will get right into the tips. Tip number 1 is don't go into these events hungry. I know that it is tempting to want to save up your calories going into these meals, to want to eat as little as possible because you know you're going to overindulge at this meal, but that is really backfiring for you. That saving up of your calories is exactly why you end up overeating. Because I'm sure you can relate, when we go to things and we are feeling absolutely ravenous, we feel like we have a lot less control and we are a lot more likely to overeat. Versus what I would coach you to do in Holiday Hustle is to eat like you normally would leading up to the event. And then just enjoy the event. We don't need to be restricting. We don't need to be saving up our calories. We don't need to be really waiting for this all out overindulgence. And actually, if we're eating more during the day, we're likely to eat a lot less at the event itself. And if we can get out of this mindset of like restrict, 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 and then overindulge, that urge to overindulge significantly goes down. We're not feeling the need to overeat at these events because we're not feeling like we've been so restrictive all week and all day. So don't go into these meals absolutely starving. It can be super simple, like we are just keeping meals normal, or we can have a little protein snack going into these events because we know that typically protein is hard to come by. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Just don't go into these events absolutely ravenous. Number 2, my favorite tip to use in any situation is the build a plate method. So we can use this whether we are at home, whether you're at your grandma's house, whether you're at a friend's potluck, whether you're at your company holiday party. You can truly use this blueprint at any time. And I love coaching this blueprint because for so many people, if you have only ever been focused on counting calories, as soon as you can't track or as soon as you can't track perfectly, it can kind of go into that all or nothing thinking where you're like, well, what's even the point? I'm not even going to bother because I have no idea what a portion size would look like for me. Versus I coach my clients to use this method, especially in those instances when we're not tracking. And it allows you to actually start to build up some eating awareness and some long-term eating skills so that when we're not tracking calories, whether it's because we've fully transitioned away from it or it's because it's one of these special occasions, we still have an idea of what portion sizes could look like. So what this is going to look like is you're going to want to find a palm-sized serving of protein, a fist-sized serving of carbs, about half your plate filled with fruits or veggies, and then a thumb-sized serving of fats, which are typically going to come from the oils or the butters that you're cooking in, especially if you're at a restaurant. Now, the best part about this method is that fun foods, quote unquote, fun foods can fit on your plate. So maybe the protein looks like a piece of chicken, like rotisserie chicken that's at the potluck, but your carb is some mac and cheese or a handful of chips, or your carb maybe is even a brownie for dessert. So there are ways to still build a balanced plate while fitting in these fun foods. And we don't have to perfectly follow this method at every single event, especially if it's something like we're having a pizza night or something. We don't need to be adding a steak to our pizza or anything like that, but it can be a good blueprint to use, especially in those situations where your other option would be throwing in the towel or feeling like you have no idea what a proper portion size should look like. So definitely recommend finding this build a plate method. Now, number 3, this is like my clients' all-time favorite tip. I would say they are all about this one, and it is to help you limit grazing. How many of you can relate? I know I certainly can to when there is a charcuterie board in front of you or there are like bowls of snacks in front of you, you tend to just mindlessly grab handfuls. And at the end of the night, you realize you're absolutely overly full and you feel a little bit sick because you just ate and ate and ate all night and you didn't actually eat anything of any substance. You were eating Chex Mix and M&Ms and cheese and you're feeling kind of sick. So something to help with that is to put all of your food on a plate. Bonus points if you make the plate and you sit down and you are away from the food. I know that's not always possible though. So just make the rule that everything is on a plate. And what this really does is instead of just mindlessly grabbing handfuls, that one extra second of putting things on a plate, one, it gives you a really nice visual of how much you're actually eating. So you can kind of see like, okay, I'm having this much food and it's that actual visual for your brain. But 2, it gives you that 1 second slowdown of awareness to say, okay, am I actually really hungry and I want this? Or am I eating it just because it's in front of me? So taking that second to build more awareness to how much you're actually eating and to check in with yourself and determine if you're actually hungry can be really, really helpful. So, like I said, bonus points if you're able to make the plate and then move away from the food and sit down and really enjoy and savor it. That is not always possible. So, just setting that rule of, hey, it has to be on a plate. I'm sure you can relate to like it feels a lot easier to just grab a handful of something. And if you have to go and get a plate, sometimes that one extra step and that extra little bit of effort is enough to make you realize you don't even want that food because you don't want to go and get the plate and put the effort in. And if that's the case, we're probably not really hungry and we probably don't even want the food that much. We're just eating it because it's habitual and it's available. So, heading into the holidays, this is by no means an exhaustive list. You guys, this is just like barely scratching the surface. And we get into so much more in Holiday Hustle. In Holiday Hustle, we are really getting into the long term eating skills and the eating behaviors that are going to help you navigate all of these events in a way that makes you feel really proud. So we're really thinking about what do you want the holiday season to look like? What are the habits and behaviors that you want to keep up with? What are the ones that we're okay letting go? What are the things that we need to work on so that we're not overeating at holiday events, so that we leave feeling really proud, so that we can stop at one cookie as opposed to five? And obviously, we're not getting into all of that right now. We'll get into that in the actual program. These are just some quick hits to help you get started. So, one, don't go into these events hungry. Two, build a balanced plate, use that build a plate method. And three, put your food on a plate to help to limit grazing. So if you want to go into the holiday season feeling confident, feeling in control, actually enjoying it, I would love to see you guys in Holiday Hustle. It's a 4-week challenge. It's going to help you keep your momentum, enjoy the season, get free, and feel really proud of how you showed up this year. So these quick hits, that's not all you need. You also need to approach your holiday season really successfully. We really need to develop those long-term eating skills to ditch our all or nothing thinking and truly break that cycle of off versus on track. And that's exactly what we're going to do together in Holiday Hustle. So you can grab your spot using the link in the show notes. I would love to see you guys all there, and I'll talk to you next week.